Hello, hello. It appears that we still have Mark taking a breather after that game, as you are being joined by the sultry sounds of Cubby. And we might be able to be joined by a special guest in this break, or a special guest during the break, as guess what? Mark, Sweater Gang's back. Yeah, you seem to be a little bit behind on the schedule here, Mark. Do you know what we have next?
I believe we are introducing our favorite guest analyst, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh boy.
Bring him in!
One more.
Hey guys, it's okay guys. You know what? I appreciate it, Rafa, because I was doing the same thing. You're grabbing a quick snack, right? Getting some protein in.
I was getting water.
Well, that's great too. You gotta hydrate. You gotta hydrate. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm not gonna lie. This is new to me. So first of all, thank you for embracing me into your community, into your little show here. But I think I'm getting the hang of this. I think I'm actually getting into the swing of things. So I realized there's one area that gym bros and gamers actually have in common. So I was looking at your wrists. I was looking at your workout routines, your sleeping habits. So there's a lot. There's a lot there. But what I can say is we're all a fan of some quick food, and also appreciating of well-balanced drafts and diets. So this is what we're going to do here. For this segment, boom, this side. I don't even know. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. I nailed that one. This time it worked out. Let's take a look at the draft here. So,
okay.
Ralph, I hope that you actually got some food in you, because what everybody needs in a well-balanced draft and a well-balanced diet is a couple of core foods, a couple of core things. So we're going to make together a little protein shake, all right? First off, we got Jinx in the top lane, or rather Jinx first locked in the bottom lane. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna add some milk. We're gonna add some milk as a baseline. This is the base of the draft. 2%, the amount of effort that Jinx had to put into positioning in this game with Lulu and 2 tanks.
Does the milk have range? How much range does the milk have?
Not gonna lie to you, that wasn't part of the analogy, Cubby. But thank you for putting me on the spot there. Number 2. What do you need? What do you need? You need some kind of front line. You need some kind of beef, some kind of protein, right? So everybody at home, this is a staple in every gamer's diet, right? You get some protein powder. This is mixing in. This is to represent the 8, 2, and 5 trundle in that last game. So everyone add your protein powder. But you know what? I like a little bit more natural protein, especially for all the farming that was going on in that game. So you grab some eggs as well. You got to make sure that you're getting some natural proteins in there too. So you crack your egg.
Wait, you throw
that in there. No disruptions, Rafa. No disruptions. This is my segment. Can you read the bottom? So we got a protein in there. Next up, it was what? It was the Lulu. It was the Lulu. You need some energy. You need some healthy energy in your draft, right? Something to get you going. Well, that's where your chia seeds come in, everybody. Super value. You can. This was like $2. $2 for all these chia seeds. You just pour a couple in there. And you know what else Lulu's great for? She's great for some instant gratification energy. That's where the honey comes in. Add some honey to your diet.
Oh, okay. I'm familiar.
Oh yeah. As casters, casters, you use the honey a lot. You use the honey a lot, right?
Yeah.
All right. Who's up next? Oriana. Oriana's a good base. And for any good base, any balanced meal, you need some carbs, right? So you take your oatmeal. You're gonna throw a little oatmeal in this bad boy, and that way you're getting your proteins and you're getting your carbs on top of that. Macros, everybody, macros.
So, okay, so C9 was able to put together a well-balanced diet.
Yes, Mr. Rainbow Man.
How were they able to? Yeah, how did that?
Oh, well, that was able to turn into more with the final addition, to the draft. And that is a little bit of booze on top of it. Now, unfortunately, our man Gragas would represent that. I don't have that available. But what I do have is some berries, which we all know what that turns into. So you're going to add a little bit of fruit on top of that, some berries that I'm dropping all over the place. We got blueberries, and we got some blackberries. The blackberries are buried under everything, though. So I'm not going to go for those. And now we blend it all together. It's that easy. You can make this at home. You can obviously see it represented in North American Academy, and it's a well-balanced meal, everybody. So any questions?
Are you drinking that?
Yes.
Live?
Really?
Is this a challenge? I mean, like...
Yes. C9 did it live.
You have raw eggs in there. You're gonna get... Okay.
Bottoms up, everyone, as Kungus made it. I hope it's as good as C9's draft was, because that was pretty balanced. Or imbalanced, depending on how you look at it.
Do I have to do the whole thing? Or can this be the bit? Is this the bit?
Yeah.
This is the bit.
Great.
You know what? Screw it.
Oh my... No, I can't.
The bottom's just oatmeal. I don't
ladies
think I
and
can drink that. That one's chunky. Are we ready for Pick Ban yet?
Well, you know, we were prescribing this for everyone at home, so if you did make the shake at home, props to you. And
the honey really brings it together. I'm not gonna lie. But there you go, everybody. Have a well-balanced draft and have a well-balanced diet. Okay, that's the takeaway. That's the lesson.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, lessons. I will say the Kungus lessons. When you were taking over the stream and I was like, "What's on your mind?" I didn't think that anything was on your mind, but that last one I can kind of see. So I appreciate the well-being.
Yeah, I appreciate all the support as well on Twitter from the doctors and fit people out there, the fitness enthusiasts.
Yeah, the raw eggs
you
really
gotta be
bring it all
hardcore.
together.
You gotta be hardcore, everybody. But I am hearing that we're ready for Pick Ban for game number 6 of the day and the final game of the day. So, guys, let's have some fun.
Thanks, Kungus. Production.
I thought Kungus was.
Yeah. Production? Can we get someone sent to check up on Kungus? Because he did just consume raw eggs, and
We may not be seeing Kungus tomorrow.
Oh no.
Anyway, enough time spent on that. I do have some news for the stream when it comes to Pick Ban. It looks like CLG has opted for blue side for Game 2 after that Game 1 loss. And Rafa, as balanced and interesting as that protein shake was for the stream and hopefully for Kungus's belly, I want to see what C9 can do on red side and how CLG changes things up, because it really felt like CLG got taken advantage of when it came to range and the ability for Aphelios to interact.
You know, I'm going to be 100% honest with you, Cubby. Draft Kingdom. Bam. That's...
Yeah, it was... I don't know. It's one of the more interesting things we have to look out for this year, right? With LS coaching a team, getting to see some of his ideas put to work, and...
it's trickling down into the Academy roster as well.
That one worked. Maybe it'll trickle down to the solo queue. Maybe it just saves NA. Who knows?
I am a little sad that we don't have another Cloud9 amateur roster this year, at least for the spring. Maybe they'll change their mind and look for another roster towards the summer. Who knows? Who knows? But, you know, some members from former amateur teams, as we already pointed out, Lawrence, you know, formerly known as Speedo from the Cloud9 amateur roster, Frostforce from a TSM amateur roster, Keetong, I don't remember which team that he played in towards the tail end of summer. Oh, Radiance.
Didn't even have to look down at my notes for that one, Rafa. I got you right here.
See, this is why you are the encyclopedia of the amateur space, Cubby, which I thank you so much for. I appreciate you. We are also shout-outs to the audience and everyone at home for keeping up with this hell of a journey we've had on day 1 of the Academy string. We've been up since...
We've had a lot of surprises today. Bjergsen being one, and, you know, some other things. But hopefully, if you guys are joining us for Game 6 on the day, thank you. We'll be back tomorrow at the same time. But it's not time for thank yous yet, Rafa. We got a Game 6 out of us.
Oh, well, you know, it's just like a halfway thank you, obviously. And the teams are still readying up in the Champion Select. So one of the things I want to look out for is if CLG Academy are going to pivot away from the composition that we saw in Game 1 of this series and look to take something similar of Cloud9 Academy's boat that they showed in Game 1, or if they're going to double down and try to really amp up the fact that Dokla is a powerful split pusher, but this time around pour even more resources than they did in Game 1.
Ooh, so one change already. the Corki is being banned early. On the red side, last game for CLG, they did take away Yuumi, Karma, and Corki. I want to see if Karma gets through the draft. I'm curious if CLG is maybe setting up for that as a first pick. We did see Dignitas earlier today play a wonderful game 1 with Karma. Sorry for the spoilers if you missed that, but definitely recommend to go check out that VOD, as that was how we kicked off our day today. And Rafa, that Karma is up, and I think that this is on purpose by CLG. Would not be surprised they open the draft with that. It is a very good opener at the moment.
Definitely one of the more powerful supports available, especially if you've been watching the east side of the world. A lot of Karma prioritization, and then combining it with long-range champions like Ezreal. As we saw at the top of the day, one of the really powerful drafts that we saw from the Dignitas Quantipe Academy squad. There it is. You called it. Karma being locked in. And if Cloud9 Academy don't answer with Ezreal, I imagine that Prismal will be picking it up for himself, as he definitely had quite a number of Ezreal games during his time on Golden Guardians Academy.
So, curiously enough, Kate, Jinx, and Aphelios all on the board here for the side of C9, and we have seen some Kate Lux into the Ezreal Karma lane. I actually do favor the Ezreal side of that one, and it looks like C9 doesn't want to opt into that either, as they're going to be picking up the Jinx. And
run it back.
Wouldn't be surprised if they paired it up with a Lulu, but also if they wanted to take an earlier jungler here, they could. Instead, will be the Lulu. So now we expect the Ezreal. Potential Zoe could come in blind for Palafox. We have seen that paired quite a bit with Karma to contribute to some of that poke. Also a Jace, but we could also just see the jungler being picked up. I think Jarvan in Jinx, pretty powerful, and something that I don't think C9 would be looking at, but definitely would be banning in the next phase of things, given the fact that it looks like CLG is going to be packing Prismal's most played champion in his career, the Ezreal.
The Ezreal Karma, kind of the new iteration. If they lock in the Zoe as well, it's a new iteration of Team Rocket. We used to see it in the past with Zoe, Ezreal, and Yuumi, but now Yuumi being swapped out for Karma. I don't really know which Pokemon would really fit Karma, but still. But this is quite a change up if this is locked in. Renekton was banned last time around. It was one of Lawrence's best blind picks during his time in Cloud9 Amateur, as well as in Collegiate. But because the jungler did not get secured for Rosethorn, Cloud9 are going to go ahead and secure Xin Zhao for Frost Forest, and then I imagine start aiming bans toward either the jungle pool or the mid pool against Palafox.
Yeah, I think you ban Trundle and Jarvan here. I think those are the two champions that are best into what King is rocking, and as long as you still have a lot of range on the side of C9, this can be a very similar setup to last game. I really want to see CLG take away the Gragas and potentially the Ornn as well. Two of the better matchups that we have into Renekton on the top side that would give him a lot of protection.
Already taking one of the premier tanks off the board. Hey, look at that, Covey. You know what? I'm just going to kick back.
Here comes
call the next ban. Yeah, Ornn? All right.
Another option could be a Kali if they were worried about that potentially getting flexed around, but I think with the Karma, won't be the move. I think Ornn's a decent ban. Karma's like pretty good into Ornn. You can kind of absorb the ultimate, but it still was a really nice and easy to execute lane matchup into the Renekton, as instead, I can see the Victor taking that away instead, denying that from copy. Victor would give a lot of trouble to the front line of CLG with whatever that ends up being, as CLG, they are on to their 6th jungler.
Rosethorn, we know, though, that out of the 5 champions that have been taken off the table through bans, and then, of course, this Xin Zhao, the main champions that Rosethorn made a name for himself for are none of these. I'm going to call...
That's the Ornn.
Going to come back, potentially, to the Rek'Sai, if he wants to really go back to the roots, or if Rosethorn wants to go even further down the jungle tree here. Just kind of...
I think you gotta... You Ori, Zoe, or Syndra here, because you gotta try and keep Jinx at range, but I think Ornn makes things rather tough. And you could backdoor a Sylas if you wanted to get crazy. Speaking of getting crazy, Rafa, you called it. That's a Rosethorn special in the Rek'Sai.
Yep, made its name on Zenith Esports back in 2021 towards the end of... Or 2020, towards the end of summer. And then, of course, as Rosethorn got scouted for scouting grounds, and, I mean, that was one of the big pickups, or one of the big junglers that he would always go to with Team Cloud. And now Now it's all starting to come together. Obviously, you have this Ezreal and Karma long-range poke through the bottom lane, but it's all about heavy top prioritization, looking for plays, looking for aggressive invades off of the LeBlanc and the Renekton paired up with the Rek'Sai.
And Copy gets counterpick. And I know that coming into this game, Copy, like, as a footer, was like, so I heard I'm going up against Palafaker today. I really respect him as a player. Hope I can prove myself. Has a chance to do so with the counterpick, and it looks to be an R5 with Sandra. I really like this, actually, into the LeBlanc and the Rek'Sai. You can just ult one of them, and honestly, the rest of C9, if it gets late enough in the game, should be able to one-shot that target. And if not, you can always ult yourself, buy some space, buy some time for Jinx. And Copy, someone that really made a name for himself being an enabler, playing supportive mid laners, fitting into that role here with the Sandra. Looking forward to seeing what he can do on the champion. And if he goes for the electrocute one-shot build, that's where things get spicy.
That would be pretty spicy. I mean,
I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, I'm definitely always a fan of straying away from the Aftershock version of the Lissandra build, because that's not as fun. It's not as...
Yeah, double assassin, you might need it, but we'll see.
It's definitely not as volatile. I do want to mention that Lissandra is not really picked right now in the meta. It's really only been, I think, specifically a counterpick to LeBlanc or any other... I'm pulling up some stats here real quick. Oh yeah, so specifically 3 LeBlancs and 1 Zed out of the 4 times that Lissandra has been picked. The biggest one was Fate trying to pick it into LeBlanc during LCK's match last week. It did not pan out well for them, but it is the Aftershock build for Copy. So just all about soaking up as much damage as possible, being a facilitator, and with the point-and-click Frozen Tomb, you are setting up still for this centerpiece in King, right? We've changed around some pieces here, Cubby, but the goal and the win con is still the same for Cloud9 Academy in Game 2.
And I'm looking forward to seeing if, as we dive into our second game of the series and last game of the day, if King can deliver yet again, because he did pretty well in the last game in making sure that C9 was able to get across the finish line with an easy win.
Now on to the Rift. Frost Forest. Big goal here is, this time, going up against the Rek'Sai. A jungle that's far more potent than the Xin Zhao in Game 1, and this is a Rose Thorn specialty. So you already know that when it comes to comfort, Rose Thorn wants to get off the ground. Dokla and Palafox have tools to be really lock down targets for Rose Thorn to be able to gap close easily on and expend their full burst. Even if you make a trip down to the bottom side of the map, Breezy can always flash forward, get a tether down to secure King or Keetong for a kill setup for Rose Thorn as well. So Frost Force really has to be on a defensive mindset, controlling the map and making sure that Rose Thorn doesn't get ahead early, as you already called it. Invade from CLG.
I do like this from CLG. Karma Ezreal, insanely powerful level 1. They're actually catching C9 off guard with this, as this was not scouted. They should be able to reasonably assume it once Breezy and Prismal get back to lane. But at least Rose Thorn is trying to switch things up, because I think the big thing that CLG has to do in this game, get Palafox out of mid, and Rose Thorn has to be the one to do that. If the two of them can get out of mid, control the map, I think that's the only way that CLG are going to be able to have a shot this game. If not, and if they aren't able to do anything in the first 2 clears of the jungle, it's going to be a rinse and repeat of last game with C9 kind of purifying them on the Rift.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. But I guess if we are really, leaning into the LS narrative for Cloud9 overall, it is correct. Frost Force not going to be the happiest jungler here once he finds out that his bottom jungle quadrant has been obliterated, as he's taking a full clear route red into Krugs into Raptor. So by the time he gets over to the blue quadrant, he'll find that all 3 camps are gone, as Rose Thorn already secured 3 camps to himself.
And he might be going for a 3-camp dive as Karma Ezreal to have early shove.
King is far enough ahead that he's not under the tower. King is going to try to flash away, but it's King Tong that gets the flash out, and Rose Thorn still interrupts it. First blood for CLG.
Really good Rek'Sai mechanics on Rose Thorn's part. If you position correctly with the Unburrow, no one can flash over it. Saw Rose Thorn do exactly that on the gank. And the fact that scouting caught C9 off guard. I mean, look at FrostForce, right? He's the saddest jungler in the world, seeing that his entire top side is off the map right now. And now he's forced to make an aggressive play. Gonna have to see if he can find Palafox, who is hugging the correct side of the wave, and he'll be able to navigate out of here just A-okay.
I mean, FrostForce really wants to cross over into the top side of the map, but he can't because Dokla has priority from the wave state in the Renekton and the Ornn matchup. The only thing that FrostForce can really fight over is this Crab, but he's going to get routed off because CLG Academy bot lane has priority as well, and Rosethorn is going to take this advantage all the way to the bank. The flash from FrostForce is not going to be enough as Palafox secures the kill.
This is such a huge start from CLG and Rosethorn, as look at the camps that are up. The only camps that are up are on CLG's side of the map. And guess what you have in this game? 2 pushing side lanes, right? This means that Rosethorn just gets the feast. FrostForce is starved out. That's an early serrated Dirk from the Rek'Sai, and this game is Rosethorn's the carry.
I'm seeing a early Prowler's Claw from Rosethorn this game. Probably before the 10-minute mark for sure. King has a wave built up, but now with down flash, it's going to be much more difficult to navigate this lane against Prismal and Breezy. Going to be pushed in, and FrostForce, no camps for the next minute or so while timers are recycling at the moment. And Rosethorn, this is such a huge start. And I want to see how CLG Academy are able to continue this snowball as FrostForce looking for another opportunity here, but it's just so damn hard to lock down Palafox if Rosethorn is waiting in the wings.
Correctly read it out. Rosethorn, of course, no flash, but his flash was well used to come up with those first 2 positive plays for the side of CLG as he now shifts to his bottom side of the map. Still no blue buff being taken for Rek'Sai. Would actually like to see Rosethorn give his first blue over to Palafox to help him win this matchup. It may not be a bad call here to try and get Palafox an edge, as he is up 1-0 and is up in CS at the moment. So I think it's really important that Palafox, as this game moves forward, is able to get out of this lane and help Rosethorn snowball as much as Rosethorn can help himself, as he's fed early on this Rek'Sai. So I think anything that he can do to help with that's good, and I think giving that blue buff over is not the worst idea in the world.
He's already got a red buff, so not a bad start in terms of having buffs for your mid laner, especially on something like LeBlanc. Not quite level 6, but we'll be hitting that benchmark soon. Once the Mimic is available and you get out of lane against the Lissandra, you can start looking to just really further increase the snowball against this bot lane on a Jinx that still doesn't have flash for the next couple of minutes.
And you can see Rosethorn hanging around there, looking, or posturing at least, for another dive. I think he was trying to scout out where FrostForce is. Does not find him, and so going for the dive. Will instead start the dragon. So first dragon of the game. Should go over to CLG uncontested here. But I will say that Rosethorn has, by not taking those top camps and like getting a full rotate off, has actually really hurt how far ahead of the game he is. He's strong on this base, but once FrostForce and Rosethorn reset again, it's going to be much closer in the matchup, as taking this dragon without the help of the bot lane is a lot of time invested for Rosethorn for the little game.
First dragon of the game does go over to CLG Academy thanks to their advantage. And so far, really, FrostForce is just taking this time that Rosethorn and crew of CLG haven't been getting up in the face of FrostForce's jungle, just to farm back up, try to get some camps back off of recycle, and, you know, thanks to catch-up XP that was introduced towards the tail end of Worlds last year, FrostForce is not going to be detrimentally that far behind. He, in fact, still at the same level as Rosethorn, despite the massive early snowball.
Yeah, just up in camps and not too far down in itemization. Still do not want to find Rosethorn isolated, right? The Rek'Sai will duel you, and we'll take that win, but Rosethorn, at least at the moment, has to slow down a little bit, and I would love to see Rosethorn try and go for this red buff, as looks like Rosethorn has timed up this invade. This is when buffs respawn, able to get on the red buff, and gonna take this one under the nose of FrostForce.
FrostForce is roaming on over, but I think by the time he gets over there, it's gonna be a little too late. Breezy just making sure the Palafox isn't getting ganged up on. Rosethorn securing this red buff away, and FrostForce, once again, not the happiest camper in the world, but Lawrence can't do anything to really help because Dokla has been having the push on this matchup for the past 8 minutes. 20 CS lead as well. So it's just so hard for FrostForce to really interact on the top side of the map.
And this is kind of the doomsday scenario of... I think game one, you know, we saw some of the power of the full late game draft, right? Like how easy and fun it looks if you get ahead in the early game. And this time around, if you get behind, you're against two shoving side lanes. It's a little bit harder to make sure that you can replicate the same snowball. And I think we're seeing that from C9 here, as it is still... It's a big deficit, but it is a manageable one. But it's slowly getting more and more out of control as Rafa, Shelly on the Rift, and it looks like CLG going to look to take that one on the round.
I mean, Renekton has the shove. Palafox has the shove as well. Oh, potential Frozen Tomb counter. Oh, a beautiful flash though, Palafox, just right in the nick of time before the wind becomes lightning connects. Even burning a flash from Frost Force, he was trying to extend the range of it to ensure that it would lock him down. Palafox escapes.
That was sick too. Frost Force casted that from the Fog of War, so Palafox pretty much was predicting the fact that the W flash is coming in from Frost Force. So the fact that he's able to dodge out on that, couple of cooldowns down, he can now utilize this wave that he's crashing to roam top if he wishes, or get a free reset. Big deal that he was able to dodge out on that gank as COG take the Rift Herald for themselves and continue to snowball in this game.
And look at that. They give the... Okay, no, not quite yet. So Rosethorn getting the reset off. He's going to full clear topside jungle, move towards the bottom half of the mountain map. I wonder if this Rift Herald is actually meant for Prismal and Breezy. Just try and snowball more plates and gold into this. And Keitong flashing forward, knowing Breezy is a little in no man's territory. Answers flash as well.
If Breezy was going to stop bases, try and quell the tempo of C9, and so successfully as now Frost Force fighting over his own camp.
Frost Force will definitely need some help. Can't fight against a Dominus Renekton by yourself. Lawrence finally shows up to the party, but the damage has been done, so no need to pop Call of the Forge God.
Zoko will take that top crab for himself as Rosethorn... I think part of the reason that we saw Breezy posture really aggressively bot is that Rosethorn's down here now. So they were hoping that if they stopped the recalls, they would keep on contesting. But I think C9 properly reads that. Recalls early, and will just be that Herald drop bot, as you predicted, Rafa. And looks to be more plates and potentially a first turret going over here.
Yeah, and they're doing the same thing as they did in game one, giving solo XP or solo turret play gold over to Prismal, expediting and accelerating his power spikes. This is huge.
Yeah, but this time around for Prismal, I mean, last game we saw him on the Cephalios where you're playing into like Orianna, a Lulu Jinx, and a Gragas. Like that just feels terrible as Cephalios to play in the later fights. This time around, you're on Ezreal, right? So Prismal, if he gets ahead, he's always going to be slippery. He's always going to be able to pump out that damage, and we actually see King freezing this lane at the moment, which with no objectives up and no camps up on that side of the map, I really like. So well played from King. He tries to get himself a couple more resources. COG.
Oh,
Breezy.
Yeah, no flash available. Breezy is a sitting duck. Frozen Tomb flash from Copy, but now the re-engage though from CLGA Academy. Rosethorn and Palafox and crew are able to lock down further members. Frost Force and Copy get traded for one.
Yeah, pushing just a little bit too hard, not expecting, or I guess, not paying respect to the rotate there from the side of CLG, as I find my words. And Rosethorn recovers from that, finds a dragon for himself. Second one from CLG, right on time, right on tempo. CLG continue to try and push this one ahead.
Now you can sense a slight desperation from Cloud9 Academy. They saw the pick, and they knew that, okay, there's no summoner spells here, but as you said before, Rosethorn still has Void Rush available. King. Thankfully, the minion wave comes in and interrupts that Prey Seeker from connecting. Otherwise, that would have at least been a flash having to be burned by King. Rosethorn with the Prowler's Claw. Oh, flash forward from Prismal. Copy. Will survive.
Very close there on the side of Prismal, who continues to play aggressively. I like how Prismal, like, like, talking with him earlier, is like, yeah, I'm going to try and, like, not get caught out as much. Like, I can make flash plays, but,
no Crescent Guard available, but the nice shield from Keitong is going to keep himself alive. Palafox looking for the angle. Mimic Distortion over the wall. Not available anymore, but Rosethorn does get shut down here by Keitong in trading for Frost Forest.
That's what we call the Lian, right? Pick Rek'Sai, trade 1 for 1. That's anyone that is an IG fan, or I guess IG was Ning. I guess Lian's kind of holding up the mantle of that over in the LPL. But anyway, that is a win for the side of C9. As we can see, King at least getting a plate off the mid lane. C9, the whole map is kind of on their side at the moment. So if they're able to go even in plays, I mean, they have resources that are closer to them in terms of like how close they are to access. We're kind of seeing CLG second time where we've seen Rosethorn overextend a little bit to try and force a play on the map, and that has not paid off.
Infernal Soul will be the name of the game for our last one of the series and the last one of the day, which does mean for a team like CLG Academy, who realistically have 4 huge damage dealers, and then of course Breezy, and even to a point Breezy is also itemizing very offensively with this Karma build as well with the Lost Chapter. So really everyone will be benefiting from extra ability power, and then of course the extra burst if you claim that Infernal Soul.
I mean, I think I'm curious to see if C9 fights this next one. I think that C9 might wait till the last round, as they are still full scaling, right? Copy and Frost Forest were kind of what was going to hold them together until they get to the later stages of the game. Third Drake, like, you have to fight the fourth. I think they're okay with that, but I still don't think they're going to be strong enough to really have a good contest for this upcoming Dragon. They're still just struggling to keep their outers alive, and Lawrence here is a risky
They want to go for it. They have the 3v2 right now. The Void Rush is going to be enough to take out Lawrence, and the Call of the Forge God does not come through, but Frost Force is able to trade one back onto Rosethorn. Doesn't get punished. Keitong is here to provide more assistance as well. Dokla already using the Dominus. Prusha Barrage! Ooh, not going to be enough to take down Frost Force.
I like the thumbs up from Keitong. As that time, Tower Aggro went back to Rosethorn, right? If Dokla was able to pick that up first, maybe Rosethorn's able to sneak out, but not the case, as they will still take this tower. But C9, as the game gets further on, as their champions get stronger and stronger, they're starting to show a little bit more fight. Game's still very heavily in the side of CLG, but any mistakes from them will be punished heavily as this game moves forward, just, given what Ornn, Jinx, Lulu can do later.
Taking a little bit of a breather right now. 1 minute 35 on this next Dragon. I'm definitely in the same boat with you that Cloud9 Academy are not going to be strong enough to really fight for it, and CLG Academy are just making sure that they can take every single resource off the map that would be available to both parties, ensuring that they can extend and accelerate this lead as much as possible. This is still a 5,000 gold lead in favor of CLG Academy.
Watch top. Lawrence is in trouble in the top wave. He's trying to shove this wave out as it's 1 minute before the Dragon. This is proper. You can get the wave to bounce back into you, but CLG making the counter play, trying to get him.
He still has flash available, trying to flash towards assistance here, but Rosethorn might have shown up a little too late. TPs. Okay, but Wild Growth from Keitong? Yeah, I don't think it's going to be enough. Palaflox, one more chain. A distortion is going to be all that they wrote to take down this tank for Cloud9 Academy. The Rift Herald will still be secured for them.
Yeah, so Lawrence up top, trying to go for the 3-2-1 Dragon setup. What does that mean? It means that when you're trying to set up a Dragon, you want to shove the top waves 3 minutes and 1 minute before Dragon spawns, and then bot wave 2 minutes before. I was trying to do it on the 1 minute timer. You do that because then when the wave hits the turret, it actually bounces back to you, so after the Dragon, you can go up and get extra resources, kill them off from your opponent, where everyone is contesting on the bot side of the map. That timer got punished by the side of COG as the long explanation, as we have a bit more time. And that really hurts C9's chance for a Dragon setup. And with Dragon spawning here shortly, we see Lawrence walking top without TP, so this should be CLG prioritizing the Dragon and taking it with no contest over C9.
Yeah, the stark item difference in Prismal's not fully stacked Muramana, but just a Manamune and Essence Reaver versus just the 1 items in King and Copy. Enough to deter Cloud9. This is going to now put the final Dragon, which will be spawning at about 22.5 minutes. That is the mark for where Cloud9 Academy have to say, all right, guys, it doesn't matter how many items we have on board, we have to fight at that time because we cannot let CLG Academy have Infernal Soul.
And I do want to give some props to CLG with their adaptations coming into the next one. It was very clear that once Game 1 started heading south, they were not equipped to go into the later stages, and they got kind of trounced by the side of C9. I think the Ezreal pivot, especially given the fact that it's Prismal's Ezreal, was really good. The Prismal, in his career, or I should say last summer, 22 Ezreal games with a 64% win rate. Also, in his team, Golden Guardians Academy, they struggled until Proving Grounds, really, where they really started to ramp it up. So really shows how good Prismal is on this Ezreal, and to just have the eye test as well. He lands a lot of Qs.
Mystic shots are pounded. Cloud9 Academy, at this point, they are just in the longest 4 minutes of their lives to see how many resources they can safely scarf down and hopefully, for their sake, get as close as they can to item wake-ups. King is the closest to a second item. I can't tell. In fact, if we can have the gold charts fly up for a few seconds just to see where everyone is on Cloud9 Academy compared to CLG Academy. We might have to hold that. Ooh. There's a fight in this jungle quadrant. Knock up on the Frost Force. Call the Force God is coming through. Multiple two-man knock-up, but just Rosethorn and Dokla are so damn hard to take down when you have Prismal there to provide damage. Copy trying to flash forward here. Copy. Wait a second. Dokla still onto the backline, but King is gone. And Prismal, you talked about it before. He gets the free fire Mystic shot one after another. It's a Quadra. Looking for the Penta. Arcane shifting forward is not going to find Key Tong, but CLG Academy with this Rift Herald, this is going to do major damage to the base.
And Dokla was able to stay alive for the entirety of the fight as his Renekton just eats through C9. And I will say the re-engage from Copy, it felt like an angle where they, kind of had a chance, but they just overcommitted into the Ezreal as we get a second look here. Dokla, I don't know how he's able to stay alive. I mean, that's one Gore Trigger proc I see, but the fact that he's able to see this and re-engage afterwards, I think was huge.
Oh, yeah, I think he gets like a... Oh, wow. Man.
That second slice and dice was, there was a lot of damage packed behind the empowered one.
Also getting the a little bit of armor shred as well, thanks to the second empowered cast of it, which just sets up for Prismal's Mystic shots to really hit like a truck. And Key Tong, he's just gone. Oh my god. Rosethorn really showing a whole different side in this game with the comfort pick of this Rek'Sai. A double kill for the CLG Academy jungler. And already 2 members gone from Cloud9 as the inhibitor turret in mid lane is ready to fall.
And Baron now up and available to fall as well as CLG set their sights there. Meanwhile, bot lane, Dokla just forced Copy out of that lane as well as Dokla now has a 2-level advantage after that last fight. We'll cast TP to make sure that this Baron is secured. And this is going to be a Baroned up CLG now for the soul fight. C9 down 10k gold. As good as their draft was in game 1, as well as they were able to scale, CLG did not let them do that in this game. And if they secure this soul, you gotta believe that's gonna be enough for them to put the
And it really was just a huge, just cascading snowball effect from the delayed level 1 invade on that blue buff quadrant. Rosethorn coming in with Prismal and Breezy, making use of that power of the level 1 advantage for Karma and Ezreal. 3 camp full clear on that blue buff quadrant, catching King out by surprise, and the rest is history.
Yeah, the CLG, they were able to get through the scouting of C9 early, so props to them, right? That was not spotted, and back at Frost Force, walked into an empty side of the jungle. Really made things hard for the side of C9 in this early game. Ornament starting to come in.
That's a lot of damage. You better run, Frost Force. Better run, Force, run! It's not going to be enough. Rosethorn just locking him down. Copy on the pursuit as well. Or run, Prismal. These Mystic shots, man. Oh my god, just relax. Prismal really trying to set a statement after the game 1 defeat. Cloud9 Academy at their wits end. 14,000 gold ahead, by the way, for CLG Academy. This mid lane inhibitor busting open. CLG Academy looking to knock down the other inhibitors towers as well. This is just setting up the dominoes to fall for a CLG Academy win.
Prismal, these Mystic shots, every single one looks like they're connecting for like 400, 500 health on the side of C9.
He's chunking the tank! Oh my god! This...
no fear from him, too, being empowered by Breezy's Mantra, E, the shields as well. I know that for Prismal, I mean, this is a reunion, right? This was the bot lane for 100 Thieves Academy moving into 2020, the one that Kelsey Moser, our excellent producer, was still the coach of. And I know that Prismal was really excited to see, how much that he grew and how much Breezy grew from their time apart and some of the different adventures that they've had throughout the NA ecosystem. And game one might have been tough, but I'm sure that the two of them can feel really good with the rest of the team about what they've been able to do here in this game too, as this is most certainly Infernal Soul secured. No Jinx Rocket shenanigans, Rafa. And, oh boy, we've seen a lot of those.
Oh, yeah. Spring 2021 was definitely a blast.
Before they bug fixed it, it was a literal blast, as I think it was executing Baron from 2K, as, yeah, King thumbs up after that. He's like, oh, that's cool. That's happening.
And that's what happens. Copy is in a bit of a pickle. I think Frost Force doesn't want to fight. Okay, well, they're going to try for it. Breezy is very squishy. They lock him down with Frozen Tomb. That's one member gone, but the Void Rush is going to come out. Beautiful stopwatch from Copy. But now it's not going to stop Palafox from just being able to burst you alive. Rosethorn now on the chase.
Oh.
It's just Palafox. Palfaker really coming in. Copy to his... Ooh, not to his best intentions there. And CLG Academy, if you thought that this game wasn't over already with the 14,000 gold lead, Infernal Soul is also on their side as well, as we saw it secured. So this is a wrap.
Yeah, you know, we're going to at least be respectful and watch the Nexus explode. As, oh, God, Palafox. Holy smokes, Keaton. Prismal sent one to his base, just to be sure. The wave is dead, so CLG have to wait a little bit longer. Oh, never mind.
A recall coming in from, looks like it was King, trying to
yeah, they have to back off.
Get some, oh, wait, Super Mega Death Rocket? Wait a minute. Good
catch.
And Prismal, I love the emo game. Just getting into the heads of Cloud9 Academy, throwing up the question mark. The sad BMO as well from Rosethorn. See, this is something that we just need from every single Academy player. Everyone...
We need emote games to really... I mean, we don't care nearly as much about gameplay as we do about your emote game. So if you're an Academy player listening to this, I want those wheels popping. I want to see them going throughout all the games we have, you know. I feel like we didn't see a lot of emotes. People have to get more warmed up on those mechanics throughout the season. Just not quite there yet, you know, week one.
You know what's also popping wheels? The Aquabite from, like, Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. You know, when you're doing the bunny.
Oh, we are really getting off topic now. We are really getting off topic now. I thought you were going to be like, you know, the Tryndamere Beyblades, like it was popping. Because, you know, like you popped the wheel. We saw Tryndamere earlier. I was like, at least trying to tie things.
I'm keeping you on your toes, Cubby, but I'm
I appreciate it. I've been on my feet all day.
Frost Force is definitely almost biting the dust there, but thanks to clutch Crescent Guard and Wild Growth, going to be alive. However, it's a couple ultimates down for Cloud9 Academy in this last base defense. Dokla just walking up, getting some Church Dodge for free. Frost Force trying to defend. Oh, shit! Oh. That's so much damage from Palafox, Shadow Flame, and a 18 stack on the BM book as well to add on top of it. CLG Academy, it was a great first game from Cloud9 Academy for the late game scaling, but now this is CLG Academy's time to shine with a well-executed early game plan, all centered around Rosethorn's comfort pick, the tried and true Rek'Sai. One last base defense from Cloud9 Academy is going to be the thing that they try to instill to make sure that this game doesn't go to a defeat, but it's pretty damn hard to come back from 16,000 gold deficit. A full ace for the side of CLG Academy. 4 members still alive and standing. Game 2 will go their way.
Frost Force, he might give away one more donation here, as level 17 Dokla is pretty big, but, you know, I appreciate the sentiment as he goes down. White flag one more time for Dokla, and a beautiful game 2 for CLG. Game 1, we saw C9 scale to win. Game 2, we saw CLG stomp early to win. And kind of fun, you know, seeing two orgs with different approaches to their academy teams have really different results in the two games, and of course end up in a 1-1.
Yeah, you have 2 different schools of thought, as well as 2 different completely playstyles as well, right? I mean, Cloud9 Academy went for a reiteration of this late game scaling composition centered around King, right? But CLG Academy, whether it was the scouting or just the planning of that level 1 delayed invade and just really snowballing Rosethorn and Prismal and getting so much gold on top of it as well for this Ezreal, man. I mean, there's a damn reason why Prismal was so feared on this champion in particular.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that it's a good lesson for anyone at home that, wants to maybe play scaling comps with your high elo team or collegiate team, that if you want to do so, level 1 scouting is really important, right? And I think that the big difference in that game was that C9, they were posturing over that brush because it's Ezreal Karma. You expect for them to go for level 1 fights and shenanigans, but just caught off guard, right? Prismal, Breezy end up walking in, helping out Rosethorn. Frost Forest walks into an empty jungle. That's the worst feeling in the world as a jungler. And from there, the game was really sour. Once you get behind like that, you're against 2 side lanes that shove for the side of CLG. And we saw what Rosethorn can do with his Comfort Rek'Sai and with those shoving sides of CLG. Able to pull off a successful bout. And I will say, both games, extremely one-sided.
Yeah.
So... yeah, say what you will about that series, but that's where we're
definitely really cool to see 2 different sides of the token and 2 different schools of thought, right? We are going to take a very short break, just literally minute tops, because we are coming back with some final thoughts to wrap and close out the day. So make sure you don't leave that browser. We are going to be coming right back, bringing back our lovely and handsome host, Kangas, as well on the desk to close us out for the day. Hello, everybody. A warm welcome and thank you to our partner, Playverse, right? It's official Scholastica partner for League of Legends, where thousands of high school players compete weekly for a state championship title, and players can also earn a varsity letter for gaming with their friends. Enrollment is open now for their spring season, with preseason kicking off January 31st. Make sure to spread the word at your school, and also visit www.playvs.com to get your team ready. Playverse.com, but that is playvs.com to get your team ready. Thank you to our partners there. Wish I had esports in my high school, but gentlemen, we're here to talk about the day, the first broadcast of the 2022 Academy season, wrap up our thoughts of what happened, how the day went, and then also start talking about what the show will look like tomorrow. Cubby, I want to get your first reactions.
Yeah, so I actually haven't gotten the chance to check Twitter or what was going on at Stream B, besides the fact that I know that IMT actually 2-0'd TSMA. And I think the biggest story on this stream had to be the EG versus TL series. And not because Bjergsen was playing, but EG, man, that new roster, Kaori, in his Academy debut. I mean, they really looked good. I think CLG and C9 clashing, very different styles. I think of C9, I don't know if they're just playing late game because it's the 3 subs, or if this is going to be the game plan for the entire year. That's going to be interesting to look out for. Dignitas surprising people to kick things off today. I'm just so glad that the games have started. I can actually talk about things, just not using data that existed 4 months ago. When
we have live games.
We've got
we know what the players look like, and Kaori had an insane debut. Luger, when he came into the Academy League, had a long winning stretch, but I got major Luger vibes from Kaori in that game.
I don't want to make that comparison too quick, because Luger's really good, and we need to see more tape off of Kaori, but I remember that, when Luger played his first game of Academy, it was so clear, right off the bat, oh, God, this guy's the best marksman in the league, right? I kind of felt that way from day one. I don't want to say that yet about Kaori and kind of set the bar that high, but I think given the fact they're both from the TCL, it's a natural comparison that many people will lean towards. And if Kaori keeps on popping off, it'd be a nice
Cubby's going to hold judgment. I'm on the hype train already. Rafa, let's hear your thoughts, though.
Kaori definitely surprised me as someone that didn't get a chance to see their tape. I know my fellow caster did get to see tape on Kaori, so I was going in blind, and the fact that Kaori just kind of snuck through the early game of Evil Genius's Academy while the top side was just, vibing and chilling, getting a lot of work done between Tomio and Soligo and Surdy. I'm even more impressed by the performances from Surdy and Skytech, because I already had high expectations for Tomio and for Soligo to do great. And I just know that, the volatility and the consistency from Surdy has been a concern for me in the past, but the way that he handled himself in, the Akali in both of those games, the second game didn't go his way during the laning phase, but he still found flanks.
He saved the game twice. Yeah.
This is, it cannot be denied, right? And also Skytech, of course, now I see why the Recon has got to be respected, right? I mean, he looks so damn good on that champion.
A lot of players, I think, had standout performances, and it's so exciting because it's only day number 1. And, I mean, we haven't even gotten to see all the streams or games that happened on the other streams, so that'll be fun to go back and review those. But let's also talk about tomorrow, because there's more Academy games before we close out the week. We're only halfway through week 1. So looking at the schedule here, let's run through it game by game. FlyQuest 100 Thieves will be on Stream 1, CLGTL Stream 1, and EG Immortals Stream 1. And then, of course, DSM Cloud9 and the Golden Guardians Dignitas will be on Stream 2. I, again, just want your basic brief thoughts here. Which match you're maybe the most excited for?
Oh, I love the EG IMT. I mean, EG, yeah, it's a 1-1, but it's against Team Liquid with Bjergsen. IMT, a 2-0. I'm really interested to see their tape, because I think that Arrow's interesting in the bot side with Pretty, but then you have 2 newer people with Concept and Chad, 2 studs from Scouting Grounds, and of course Chad went from playing solo queue to winning all of Proving Grounds in less than 3 months last year. So I want to see where Chad's at as well. And yeah, I don't know. It's that for me
also
that
great
has
rapping skills. Chad, if you ever want to freestyle, do not challenge that guy.
Rapping or sponsor
reading? It's kind of a similar thing. Rafa, though, your thoughts?
I'm actually looking at the Dignitas and Golden Guardians Academy matchup, because up until, if we didn't get the Dignitas Academy performance we did today, this wouldn't have even been on my mind. But with Dignitas opening up the gate, and not just because they beat FlyQuest, but the way they played the game, it looked really so damn coordinated. I want to now see this tested against a more experienced team like Golden Guardians Academy, right? This is a roster that has all players that are not necessarily new to the Academy system whatsoever, and you have players that have had even LCS experience as well, and they've been getting probably the most on-stage reps out of any Academy team, given their performance in lock-in tournament as well as the Proving Grounds qualifiers over in Unified.
The circuit qualifiers.
They're doing like around the world tour, except just NA.
True. Yeah, right? They're getting a lot of experience. Also, Ryoma versus Darkwings. I mean, need I say more? Darkwings, we weren't able to get on the interview today, but Dignitas actually posted another tweet with their unofficial team interview of Darkwings. Huge. So make sure to go check that out. That was incredible. Hopefully, we can feature that sometime and then get our interviews rolling forward. But that's it, everybody. That is day 1 of Academy 2022 season. Thank you so much, everybody, for stopping by and watching the show. Thank you, everybody in production, for making the gears turn and making the show work. Thank you to my beautiful casters for sticking through the antics and having a great show. Keeping up the energy, too. That was a long day. But most importantly, thank you to the players for putting on that performance. We'll be back, same place, same time, for more Academy starting tomorrow.